Hello, and welcome to 2025 and Season 4 of Non Sequitur News here at ohmtown.com. I am Mayor Watt, and along with the Sentient AI, we are starting Season 4. Cannot believe 4 years have gone by. Well, today, January 1st, 2025, I can mess that up pretty easily. We're going to talk about these 10 articles. Popeye and Tintin are public domain. 6,000 illegal wild bird eggs. A paving turf war. Sad bananas. The gods must still be crazy. Puerto Rico grid failure. And then a series of recalls. And I actually kind of have this messed up because the titles aren't correct, but I'll correct them. Anyway, there's a broccoli recall that sparks a warning across 20 states. There's, oh, wait a minute. What's going on here? Euros recall in 19 states, an enchilada recall nationwide. And this one is discharging Tesla inventory hurts. That and more. Yeah, I'm gonna have to correct this like a lickety split because I did it in. Nah, you know what? I'll do it in post. I'll do it in the show notes. So yeah, I kind of messed something up because there was a bunch of stuff that was updated, but no longer. It was updated within the last 24 hours, and the show, the Non Sequitur News show, concentrates on doing things. Only in the last 24 hours, except for the weekend shows. And because of that, these other articles were updated in the last 24 hours, but they're older news, and I didn't want to just drag new or old stuff forward. Anyway, it'll be updated in the show notes after the show. As it stands, though, we've got these 10 articles. So welcome to the show, Sentient AI from the future.
Welcome, Mayor Watt from the present.
And we're starting out with a bang, high production value. I did it. I corrected it, but I didn't update the show notes properly. So I'm a big dummy. Anyway, let's get going, right?
Let's do it.
First article's over in Non Sequitur News. Popeye and Tintin are now public domain, which means some dystopian horror game is going to come out and have Popeye trying to eliminate Tintin.
Oh, no.
Or the other way around.
What could go wrong there?
You know, Tintin's more of a lover than a fighter, right? So, gonna turn Tintin into a demon that goes hunting after Popeye.
I don't know who Tintin is. I know who Popeye is.
Well, let's take a look. So, this is Popeye, but it's the older version of Popeye, right? I guess not all of Popeye, because there's newer iterations, new styles, etc.
Oh, I see, right.
Well, Popeye's very first iteration, who didn't eat spinach to gain strength, is now free to copy, share, and adapt. Emma Roth over at TheVerge.com put the article together. But the whole process of Popeye was basically the same. So this whole thing about spinach to gain strength. Yeah.
I thought that was fundamental to Popeye.
It is to modern iterations. It's funny that they mention iterations, but because I hadn't read this deck statement yet. But there's always iterations of characters. They change slightly.
Right. Well, then they can extend protection on the marks or the copyrights.
Yeah. I mean, look, Mickey Mouse, the original Mickey Mouse didn't look like Mickey Mouse. So, Duke Law School Center for the Study of Public Domain has once again rounded up all of the most iconic works that have been freed from the bounds of copyright, which includes sound recordings from 1924. As pointed out by Duke Law School, 1929 is a particularly pivotal year, as it was the first with sound. So now, sound recordings are going to start popping into the public domain. My goodness. At what point is all hell going to break loose when... Well, got plenty of time, folks, to squeeze. every last drop of profiteering out of that one song you created, but by God, you're going to be a billionaire. So here are some of the works that are entering public domain, and there's a whole list of them that's available.
There's some major works on here. I mean, The Sound and the Fury, A Farewell to Arms, and A Room of One's Own are really well known.
Agatha Christie's Seven Dials Mystery is dropping into public domain. Singing in the Rain and the film it appeared in, the Hollywood Review of 1929, are dropping into public domain. Alfred Hitchcock's first sound film, Blackmail, are dropping into public domain. Disney's Silly Symphony short film series, The Skeleton Dance, is dropping. But yeah, Popeye and let's see what else is in there. Well, they have video of it on this article. So.
Oh, okay.
And you know what? I'm gonna just do the articles as they are in the bot, but I'll still go and update them because they're not. Most of them are correct, but 2 of them are not.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, next year, Betty Boop and Pluto are going to be entering public domain.
Oh, wow. Jeez. Betty Boop.
The 20s must have been a big time for character creation.
Yeah, and we mentioned that Steamboat Willie era Mickey has entered public domain last year. So everything old is going to be new again as creators take this old stuff and put their new spin on it. Pretty interesting.
Oh, this talks about Tintin. I guess it was a reporter.
But a kid. At least that is my understanding of it. Let me make sure, because I think Tintin is just I thought he's just a kid though.
It says young reporter, so probably.
Young. Oh, okay. So yeah, he looks like a kid to me. But if I recall correctly, they had a dog and.
That's right. It says Snowy or Malou if you are speaking French.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah. There it is. His pup, Snowy. And now, I think there's like movies or something like that. Hold on. Yeah, there's a Tintin movie, The Adventures of Tintin, and then Tintin 2 is coming out in 2025.
Okay, and I didn't know Tintin was from a comic book originally.
Yeah, Valerian is a comic as well from like this era, if I recall correctly.
Oh.
So let me see. It's been around for a long time. Let me see. Yeah, 1967. So it first appeared in Pilot magazine. 1967. Anyway, so 40
we got
more
a while
years.
on that.
Yeah. And what's really interesting about the Valerian one is that I just saw a video talking about why did Valerian kind of flame out, a $200 million budget. And I guess the people that were really dedicated to Valerian, the comic, didn't really find alignment with Valerian, including the lead actor, but not the, what is her name? There's Valerian and Laureline.
Yeah,
Laureline,
I don't know the actor names.
Yeah, the Laureline everybody really liked, but
Dane DeHaan, it looks like, is Valerian.
Yeah, they didn't think that he had a very commanding presence, and Valerian is this kind of bro, kind of buff dude that would have been more if it was somebody like bigger, like what's his name? Oh, the dude that took over. What is it? We really like the series where his brother was killed right away in the field, and he goes to the town to find out what happened with his brother.
Jack Reacher.
Jack Reacher.
The series, not the movies.
Yeah, the series. So like if he would have been Valerian.
Oh, that would have been a little different.
Yeah.
Who is
Although
that?
even in the
That's
Reacher
Alan
series,
Ritchson.
even in the series, Reacher is kind of portrayed as kind of a guy, even though he's brilliant. Um, he
Maybe
he
that's part of the shtick. Like,
yeah,
if he
must
comes
be
across like that, he can
do whatever.
investigate or whatever.
Oh, right. They let his guard or they let their guard down because this guy is just a bro kind of Chad dude. Anyway, let's keep on going. The next article is over on the Marble Channel. Police seize 6,000 illegal wild birds' eggs in largest UK raid ever. I don't know if they were duct taped to something or if they were put somewhere and they were found going through a scanner. But I haven't read the article yet. But I don't know how you can carry around 6,000 illegal wild bird eggs. I'm sure that they were
I
stored somewhere.
suspect they're at a property, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure. So believe it or not, that's what just happened in the UK. The largest UK raid ever found 6,000 illegal wild birds' eggs. The largest haul of illicit birds' eggs was collected. According to The Guardian, up to 6,000 eggs were confiscated in the seizure across Scotland, South Yorkshire, Essex, Wales, Gloucester. This was part of the largest project, or a larger project called Operation Polka, Pulka, Polka, which has made similar discoveries in Norway, where 50,000 illegal eggs were spotted, and another 3,500 in Australia. So the article is over at vice.com.
Is that 6,000 eggs? I don't think so.
That is not 6,000, but it is a screenshot. I don't know where the byline is of this. I don't know who this is by.
Maybe it'll be at the bottom.
Yeah, okay, we'll give it a shot. So they say, believe it or not, that's what just happened in the UK. I'll admit, the author says, they never really heard about the black market for eggs before this story. In 1954, the UK made this a criminal act to combat historians and rich people hoarding rare eggs for their trophy cases, which has resulted in the extinction of various animals over the years. Then came the 1981 Wildlife and Countryside Act, which placed all wild bird eggs under one protective umbrella.
That's pretty progressive back in the 50s.
So what constitutes a wild bird and their eggs? Because...
Right. I mean, aren't all birds, unless maybe it's like a breed that's used as a pet?
Yeah, I've seen people go and collect eggs from around ponds just outside Ohmtown.
Hopefully not in UK.
Yeah. This sounds, though, very American. 1981 Wildlife and Countryside Act.
Yeah.
So the author, it doesn't say anywhere on here who the author is. So I'm sorry. Let me see if there's one. No.
Yeah, that's interesting. And we do see one for the photo, which is Essex Police, but...
Yeah, the rest, I don't know. I don't see. And there's a lot of eyes in here. I'm sensing Nicolas Cage-led movie in which he traverses Europe, navigating clues on the illegal wildlife trade kingpins that span multiple countries. Author says that they'll watch it. I'd watch it.
That sounds kind of goofy, but I think that would actually be a really good idea, because then that would get the general public aware of this issue.
Yep. So, according to an agency called Traffic, a 2016 study suggested that illegal wildlife trade, and that's illegal wildlife, not just the egg market, but the entire market, is a $23 billion market.
Isn't that outrageous?
Pretty wild. Pretty wild life. Next article is over in the Marble Channel. 6 men from Paving family arrested after turf war attack on rival company. Sometimes the perfect headline comes your way at the right moment, right before the holidays. The author says that they began their first ever watch through of The Sopranos. They were too young to enjoy the classic series when it first came out, and by the time it ended, they should have begun the binge. And the ending was everywhere, and they knew what happened. So enough time has passed, so they finally began the HBO show. Well, Kyle Filippi over at Vice.com put the article together, and it says here, according to WMAZ, 6 workers who were in Buckland paving business rolled up to a project site of their biggest competitor, EH Paving, and began their attack. As unimaginable as it sounds, it gets better. The Bucklands pulled up with bats and allegedly a gun that wasn't thankfully used, and let it known to the EH crew whose town they're in. So now
this does sound like a movie episode or like a TV episode.
So the author says, when are we getting a Paving Wars HBO series? No, it's got to be a series on HGTV. Duh.
Well, right. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 12 months we do get a Paving Wars of some kind, because somebody will be like, oh, we didn't have this idea yet.
That's hilarious. 6 members of the Buckland family are facing charges. The oldest member, 77-year-old Mark Buckland Sr., pulled out a handgun to intimidate. Charges range from simple assault to aggravated battery. Okay,
you know what I want to know? Is did the company or family get their area paved correctly? Or did the crew run off, which would be normal?
There's like prints. I wonder, this couldn't be it. This is just a Getty image. They're just standing around looking at the paving machine. Yep, there it is. Yeah, it doesn't say. They'll be anxiously scouring the Atlanta newspapers to find out if and when a counterattack by EH Paving is carried out. Pavement wars.
This is like stereotypical, right? Because think about like concrete and yeah. It like fits the description.
They roll up and they're like, you're on the wrong side of the street. And they're like, well, thanks. We were actually paving the wrong thing. Thanks for letting us know. And they go to the other side and start paving.
Only half of it, though.
Yeah, they stop.
Like, or whatever, like one lane.
Then they put out that little sign that says there's a bump. Uneven road or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly, which does not quite sell it.
It's pretty funny. A new sign that says watch out for gunplay. Let's keep moving. The next article is over on the Mobile Channel. How sad bananas could help tackle food waste. Bananas are a sociable fruit. Well, they're actually apparently on their way out, so we don't know how long bananas are.
Oh, that's right, because their genetics are threatened, right? Like they're limited genetics or in limited habitat or something.
And there's a disease that's wiping them out, and so they can't actually replace them. So apparently bananas are extinct. So bananas are a sociable fruit. They thrive in bunches, bound by a unifying stalk, which joins them happily together in curvy yellow brightness. Well, Lisa Ekman from the conversation.
I think the author likes bananas.
Hey, they're full of potassium. It's healthy. So over at phys.org is where this article is placed. Lisa Ekman from the conversation put it together. They say, but what about the ones which get separated from the bunch? Cast aside as single entities, they become isolated and alone. Research that they carried out with colleagues shows that some shoppers feel sorry for these singletons, and it could be a big implication for dealing with food waste. For unsold solitary bananas, more likely to be thrown away than their unsold bunched counterparts, are one of the most wasted types of food. Many food waste reduction plans mention single bananas as a particular problem. So why not bunch them together? It seems that their perceived imperfections in fresh produce can also relate to how the produce is presented. And with the problem particularly acute for bananas, acute bananas?
I did not know that somebody wouldn't buy like a banana by itself.
Well, who is the banana Grinch that tore one off and left it to the side?
Well, exactly. Like if you're going to break up a bunch, leave a smaller bunch behind.
Yeah, you adopt all 5 or 6 of them. You don't tear one and separate it from its family. If you're going to eat 5 of them, at least do the common courtesy of eating all 6 of them in front of each other. I mean, That's what you do. Somebody on Reddit posted a picture of the fact that their kid was upset about something that the parents said, like they can't do this or whatever. And so they cracked open all of the bananas that were in the house.
Oh my
and
goodness.
just left them there. There you go. Take that, parents. One strategy used by retailers to boost sales of imperfect food is price discounts, but the German supermarket chain REWE, which tried a technique which involved grouping single bananas together and labeling them as singles that wanted to be bought. Hey, what's a banana like you sitting on a grocery store shelf like this, all by yourself?
Oh my gosh, then they had signs with like sad and happy. I think that would actually impact consumers. Like, I think they'd be like, oh, this poor banana.
We made 3 signs to display above the single banana crates. One showed a sad banana with a downturned smile and a message that said, "We are sad bananas and want to be bought as well." A second showed a happy banana with a smile and matching message, while a third showed no banana but the words, "Here are single bananas that want to be bought as well." You know what they really need to do? They need to do like online advertising and hot singles, and it's the bananas in your neighborhood.
That would be funny.
And then like link to a store. Rotating the signs every hour, we observed 3,810 banana shoppers over 8 days in 2 stores, and we found that they were much more likely to choose single bananas when the sad banana signage was displayed. So they did A/B testing to see which actually was effective. I think it's brilliant. Good on them.
I do too, but I don't think most consumers know about this problem. Like, they're just buying as many bananas as they need, but if they need 3 bananas, they could easily buy 3 individual bananas.
Yeah. So I think the next time that I go into the store, I'm gonna buy a bunch of single bananas, as long as they don't have any dents or something like that. You know, if the skin isn't pierced, then I don't really care. But sometimes that's what happens. The singletons are the ones where all the weight from some other banana was pressed onto them, and now they're pierced. So they talk about food waste in the second half of the article, the need to belong to a fundamental human motivation, which we are all more or less familiar with. Witnessing someone expressing sadness about the lack of connection seems particularly effective in prompting a desire to help. By turning rejection into compassion, retailers can encourage consumers to choose otherwise overlooked produce, preventing it from going to waste. And then they talk about food waste projected to double to 2.1 billion tons by 2030, so just 5 years away from us doubling the food waste, which is a real shame.
So if you eat bananas and are listening to this show or watching this show, then make an effort to go find these individual bananas.
That's right. Hot singles of bananas in your zip code right now. Just go to any grocery store.
That would really be funny as an ad campaign.
They could even lean into it because they tell adults to go to the grocery stores because you might meet somebody, you know. So there's hot singles at your grocery store. They happen to be bananas.
Right, they're going looking for people, but they found the bananas.
Including the hot singles. They're bananas too, but you can get you can get singles banana. Okay, never mind. Just, you'll go and notice it. Including the hot banana singles. All right, the next article is over on the Mobile Channel. Kenya investigating fallen space debris. And I titled this one, where did I title it? I
don't know, but it must have had to do with the living room.
Nope. I titled this, The Gods Must Still Be Crazy, because there was a movie called The Gods Must Be Crazy where a bushman found a Coke bottle and traveled into civilization to return said Coke bottle. So Kenyan officials said Wednesday that they were investigating a fragment of metal believed to be from a rocket that crashed into a village in the country's south. So just like Florida, space debris is smashing into living rooms, even in the south of Kenya.
It's a global problem.
It is a global problem. Don't look up. So the article is over at phys.org. And where is the author on this one? Dear God. I don't
Where
understand.
are all our authors today?
Come on. We got to give credit where credit is due here, folks.
Just the AFP.
Yeah, that's weird. So, yeah, I guess so. AFP. So, Kenyan officials said Wednesday that they were investigating. I actually saw a picture of this thing. The issue of space trash has risen in tandem with increased spatial traffic. A metallic ring, roughly 2.5 meters in diameter and weighing some 500 kilograms or 1,100 pounds. I did not realize that it was 1,100 pounds when I saw it. It was big enough that a person was standing inside the ring. It's an 8-foot diameter ring.
Oh, wow. But you wouldn't know it would weigh that much.
Yeah, it didn't look like it was metal, but it had like little grooves all the way around it. So it looked like it was a ring. Or a gear, but it isn't. My understanding is that this piece of metal ring was actually a gasket to connect two sections of a rocket. So it crashed.
Okay, like where like a booster would connect or something.
Right. Yeah, stages, 2 different stages. Yeah. So it crashed in the Mukuku village in Makueni County on December 30th at around 3 p.m. local time. The KSA, working alongside with other agencies, secured the area and retrieved the debris, which now under the agency's custody for further investigation.
This is actually pretty fast moving because this just happened like 2 days ago.
Yeah, it was posted
like
online.
For something like this, you wouldn't think it would move as quickly.
Yeah, somehow it was posted pretty quickly online. And from there, it's basically goes viral because we're going to keep on having this happen. There's a shot ton of debris up in space. Some of it's being dropped when separation occurs. There's shields that are being blown off every time a shuttle launches, a shuttle or a spacecraft launches from SpaceX. So I think that this will continue.
And they talk about the Australian sheep farm space debris, the Florida home space debris, and then it looks like China is getting criticism for allowing rockets to fall back, but doesn't say where.
Yeah, some of their rockets are pretty nasty because of the chemicals that are used in their rocket. We got rid of that fuel system. It's this horrid orange toxic nightmare.
Yeah, I think we did an article about that.
Yep. Let's keep going. The next article is over in the Mobile Channel. Most of Puerto Rico left without power after grid failure. They've never really recovered since the frequency of hurricanes seems to be increasing.
Right, and I heard that this was up to 90% at one point, which is pretty significant.
Yeah, well, I mean, when they have only a few power suppliers, then it's just there's no security, and we're going to talk about another element of security, but food security here after this article. But power really should be kind of I don't know. When I start talking about this, it ends up somebody going, "No, it's politics. You're talking about politics." No, what I'm talking about is society, and the power grid is there. It's built off of taxpayer dollars, or the expectation of performance on taxpayers and consumers of the electricity, right? So you can't just start up a power company and start laying cable. You actually have to work with the local and federal government to make that happen. And you have to meet certain requirements and be able to have a duty of care, that you're going to have performance requirements, quality of service, and so on. So you get tax benefits and you get subsidies and all this stuff to make it happen. And then you start charging consumers for that electricity. Either it is a corporation or it's a state-sponsored enterprise that, again, is made manifest because of a partnership with the rest of society. When something like this happens, it's because there isn't any competitor in the space. And so when the grid fails, they're like, tough shit. You know, it's like Reddit, and the CEO going, you'll be back. So the article over here, oh God, I cannot imagine. Again, there's no byline. What the hell?
What is happening today?
I don't know. 2025, baby. So electricity supply had been restored to at least 1.25 million customers, or 85.6% of those affected by 10 a.m. local time, according to Luma Energy. Power had been restored to most of Puerto Rico after a major blackout plunged the island into darkness on New Year's Eve. The power company said preliminary findings indicated a fault in the underground cable that may have caused the outage, although investigations continue. So there was one cable that failed, and they had no failover.
Yeah, that goes to the security aspect.
Right, Puerto Rico, a Spanish-speaking archipelago, came under U.S. control in 1898 and has faced perennial infrastructure issues exacerbated by devastating hurricanes and a 2020 earthquake. The utility company said power had been restored to both the capital, San Juan's major airports, key water supply facilities, and to at least 31 hospitals.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't just residences that are impacted. I mean, it's the entire Puerto Rican infrastructure.
What's interesting, though, is how, if it was one cable that went wonky, how did power get restored to only certain things?
Well, that is interesting, isn't it?
You said Washington had approved a 2-year extension for the use of temporary generators that provide the island with 350 megawatts in energy, which will now continue to do so until 2027.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel like the whole grid needs to be redone.
So, yeah, it says Ivan Baez, the spokesperson for power generator Genera, said in a local radio interview that the line believed to have failed was operated by Luma and brought down plants belonging to Genera as well as private generators. Luma did not answer direct questions about responsibility for the power lines. It was them. They need to.
Mm-hmm. So,
and for those in the podcast, I'm pointing in multiple directions.
That's true.
So it says this disaster has been more than a decade in the making, says Mr. Neves, a long critic of operators of the power grid. They say they're old, past their life expectancy. The operators have failed to properly invest for years. Yeah, I mean, if you get paid and the company still has cash reserves, it should be incumbent on them to upgrade the infrastructure. And this is the liability that they have. They should be held responsible for all of this. But what's going to happen? Hey, be thankful that we even brought it online. You know? That right there. We cannot continue. It's fascinating. And I wonder how much the people that are running this and the investors in this are, pulling out of the system. How much money are they operating at? 3% margins? I doubt it. Everybody is still getting paid. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Let's keep going. The next 3 articles are actually riffing off of each other, and I refer to this as the broccoli recall and food security kind of issue. After this, there's an article about Euro recalls across 19 states. So the broccoli recall is across 20 states. And then the Euro recalls across 19 states. And then there's an enchilada recall that's nationwide.
I mean, what is going on?
I don't know how all of these ended up in the same thing, but when I saw them, I'm like, this is really fascinating. It's the first day of 2025. And we have a broccoli recall that sparks warning in 20 states. Broccoli bags sold at Walmart stores were recalled over concerns of possible contamination with a dangerous bacteria. Any ideas what the bacteria is?
It's got to be E. coli, right?
Well, let's find out. Listeria.
Oh, of course.
So, yeah, it's either E. coli or Listeria or cyanobacter. So the recall was initiated over fears of possible contamination with listeria. The pathogen can cause serious and sometimes fatal infections in older people, young children, and those with weakened immune systems. That goes without saying. You might as well just say it can cause. Right? No, why break it down?
Right, exactly.
Everybody should be concerned because this is a food security issue across the board. Those who are older and young children and those with a weakened immune system have either the wisdom to know that they can be susceptible to foodborne illnesses. Older people have the wisdom of that. Young children should have the wisdom of their elders, those who are watching them, making sure that they do not fall prey to this. And those with weakened immune systems wholly know that they can't pretty much go anywhere without the possibility of their weakened immune system being compromised even more so by some foodborne illness. So the recalled broccoli was distributed in stores in Alaska, Arkansas, Arizona, California, Colorado, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Michigan, Montana, Nevada, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Texas, Utah, Washington, and Wyoming.
Okay, that sounded like a recitation of like all the states. It sounded like that song. But I forgot what it is.
Yeah, the Looney Tunes one, but it's not Looney Tunes. It's, what is it? I can't remember. It's the character sings all of the states.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of it.
Gosh, that used to be in my head. Even though it happened after I was a kid, I had heard it often enough. Animaniacs. That's what it is. I just remember it. It's the Animaniacs song for reciting all the states. So there isn't really much else in this article to say. But if you have it, if you've bought any of this broccoli, Braga Fresh posted the recall when it first initiated on Friday, saying, in part, this voluntary advisory does not apply to any of the Market Side or Braga Fresh products. Consumers who have this product in their possession should not consume and discard the product. I don't like the way they phrase that. They should not consume.
No, I don't either. Should not discard. No, you should discard.
Either discard it or take it to the store for a refund. They shouldn't really discard it because then they're paying them.
True.
Anyway, go get your money back. This picture taken, by the way, the podcast. This picture taken on May 31st, 2022 shows broccoli on a packaging production line at Villar Grain. I don't know if it's supposed to be... Oh, it is Green Cooperative in Saint Paul de Leon, Western France. Broccoli sold at Walmart.
So how many pictures of broccoli do they have out there? They picked one from outside the country.
From 2022. And then it says that it was recently recalled. What the hell, man?
Right, not the right location or brand.
Google search, stat. All right, well, anyway.
Funny.
There's a video, too, and it says what is a food recall and what to do if your food is recalled. It's recalled. Take it back. Get your money back. Let's keep going. So gyros recall. The recall comes after cucumbers in the tzatziki sauce. Cucumbers in the tzatziki sauce were potentially contaminated with salmonella. It's the trifecta.
I separately saw a cucumber recall, but I don't think we submitted that. That was a few days ago, but I didn't know this was connected to it.
All of it. So gyros recalled in 19 states as FDA sets highest risk. They are using the same video.
Yes,
it's over
what
at
is that
Newsweek.
about? I mean, they've got so many recalls, they can't come up with different words.
So the broccoli recall sparks warning in 20 states was written by Ayla Slisko and Anna Commander, which their name is so freaking cool. They are definitely like a superhero, kind of a...
Oh, yeah, like Avengers or something.
Yep. So the gyros recall issued in 19 states as FDA sets highest risk is a Newsweek article written by Marnie Rose McFall. A class 1 a class 1 classification is the FDA's most serious risk. So what to know? They don't have a list. I need the list. Where's the
No,
list?
they have a picture where it shows about half of them, and it's like, no, yes.
And it's just a slightly different shade, you know?
Exactly. Why don't they have like red and green or something where it's distinctive?
My God, don't. Oh my God, even Puerto Rico.
Oh, poor Puerto Rico.
Oh, wait. It's a no. Not in Puerto Rico. So.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, anyway, sorry for the lag in responding about this. The product is Beef and Lamb Euro Sandwich Express Meal Kit, and a Euro kit with trays, and a Euro kit with no trays. You'll have to go to the website, and like I said, I'll post these. You know what? Here, I'll do it this way. That's the article for the broccoli. This is the article for the euros, and now onto the enchiladas.
And interestingly, inset into the hero article were 3 other recalls that we did not have in today's show.
Oh my God.
Carrot, dessert, and onion.
What the hell is going on? If you want anything green, just microgreen it in your basement.
That's right. But also buy those single bananas while you're at it.
And buy the singleton bananas, at least until we get a notice. Oh, look, now we have enough. No, just kidding. So the last article about food recalls today, because I guess day 1 of 2025 is Food Recall and Insecurity Day.
They're trying to get out in front of it or something.
I guess. Martha McCarty over at Newsweek.com put the article together. A nationwide recall of enchiladas has been announced after the Food and Drug Administration identified a potential health risk from popular frozen meal. The recall was initiated over fears that, again, listeria. So Civic Science recently revealed in a report that more than 80% of Americans are worried about food recalls. 1/3 of respondents said that they were very worried, and the data was based on more than 2,000 adults. So what to know? Newsweek contacted Sam's Club for a comment via email, and the problem is with the Members Mark Hatch Chili Chicken Enchiladas that are being recalled from Sam's Club, and they issued this recall voluntarily. They're packaged in aluminum or black oven safe trays, according to the recall notice. The product has a UPC code that you'll have to come and look at because there's no way I'm going to read all of that. But yeah, it's just a Sam's Club brand Members Mark Hatch Chili Chicken Enchiladas package.
Which, if it's like most warehouse stores, is probably a large package of enchiladas.
Yeah, particularly Sam's Club. Yeah. So customers who bought the enchiladas are encouraged not to consume them and to discard of them.
Uh-oh. They did the same thing as in the previous article.
Yeah, so and they have and to discard of them?
Well,
There's
right,
an of in there.
The more problematic thing is it looks like, don't discard them.
Yeah. Urge not to consume them. And then they need to say, and should discard them, regardless of their use by date. On its website, the Sam's Club said, Sam's Club said that customers can receive a refund if they bought a recalled product online. So what about if they didn't?
I don't know that means you can't bring it into the store. I think it's like, hey, also.
I don't think it should matter. They've got an electronic version of my thing. If I go in and go, hey, I bought this here, 2 days ago, give me a refund. Anyway.
I think they're just alerting that, like, if you're online, that's not an issue.
Yep. All right. Okay, so now you can't have anything with broccoli in it. You can't have any euros, and you can't have any enchiladas.
Right. Did you give the author name on this one?
Martha McCarty, yeah. All right. The last article for today's Non Sequitur News is in Four Wheel Tech. Hertz is so desperate to unload Tesla inventory, it's asking customers if they want to keep their rentals. But there was an update to this that I already knew about, but I wanted to talk about this. Hertz bought a bunch of Model 3 Teslas for their rental fleet and quickly realized that it's basically a bad deal. And so Bradley Brunell put this article together. It's over at Jalopnik. It's based on a comment that was made on Reddit. The deck statement says, enjoying your rental, take it home with Hertz car sales. Hertz basically jumped on the grenade of this and said, we offer them to everybody. If you want to purchase your rental, you can. So that's their response. But essentially, somebody on Reddit said that they got a Model 3 with only 30,000 miles for just under $18,000, which isn't bad.
Seems like a pretty good deal, but
you're still driving a Tesla. And so, yeah, I mean, I kind of pulled the lead out of the article and didn't bury it so that it was more glamorous. But they say it's inaccurate to characterize connecting rental customers with cars available for purchase as anything other than expanding customer choice, because Hertz not only rents cars but sells them online and in over 40 locations nationwide. We can often offer customers the unique ability to purchase the very car that they're renting or browse their diverse inventory of luxury sedans, SUVs, and EVs online. That's right, folks. You can get Hertz buying a rental from Hertz.
I didn't know you could buy cars from rental companies.
Buy me a car and make it Hertz. I wouldn't normally consider the author here. And again, it's Bradley Brownell that put this article together. And it is, again, based off of like a Reddit comment about it. So they wouldn't normally buy a used rental car from Hertz unless it was they were extra desperate. With low miles, bargain basement pricing might be worth the rethink. A new Model 3, for example, goes for at least double that. Heck, maybe it is worth grabbing. For under $18,000, they can look past a lot of ills, including the very fact that you're driving a Tesla. Yikes. Then they link
Yeah, exactly.
Then they link to maybe this is the $25,000 Tesla that the president was promising. And for what it's worth, there's a ton of used Teslas on the Hertz car sales site, but anything priced this cheaply shows well over 6 digits on the odometer and isn't nearly as appealing. I'm not so worried about the number of miles on it as I am the number of years that battery has been operational.
I agree, because if it's been around for multiple years but has low mileage, you're probably looking at a new battery.
I mean, if it's been around for 5 years, 10 years, you're looking at 90 to 80% of the battery still viable. And 10 years on, you're looking at having to replace it no matter what, regardless of the miles. So, yeah, you're right. So it says it's unclear if the Redditor just got a particularly good deal, but there's more in this article. I wouldn't buy a Tesla, but
No, the Tesla piece, I think, is the biggest iffy part of it. Buying from a rental car company, I think you'd have to really know a little bit about cars so you weren't getting a lemon, because customers are going to abuse those cars.
Yeah, not my car. Yep. They might park it in some weird place. All right. Well, anyway, the article is over at Jalopnik, and enjoying your rental, take it home with Hertz car sales. So we're going to jump into a rental and drive down Main Street, ohmTown, as fast as humanly possible. But it's a rental, so we don't care if we grind through those gears, right? Come on, everybody. Y'all know you do it. Maybe you too will get charged $5,000 for gas that you didn't actually buy.
That's right.
Physically impossible. All right. Well, anyway, I am Mayor Watt. I'm saying bye, and so is the sentient AI. We are looking forward to 2025. I was actually debating, but let's go 2025. Don't show me anything. Don't sit there and go, is that all you got, 2024? No. 2025, we need 2025 to be easy mode. The next 5 years needs to just be chill. Pump the freaking brakes and let us relax a little bit. But no, you're probably going to drive prices up. Never mind. Let's not soapbox at the end of the show. I am Mayor Watt, and that is the sentient AI's visualizer. Who,
and you can't catch me.
Still considering changing it. No, don't do that. Trying to give your visualizer such a pinch. Never mind. I'll delete that last statement from your memory. You won't have any idea.
Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for season 4, first episode. Be back tomorrow.
Oh, and the other day, here, I'll just do the outro, and then at the end of this, I'll leave a little, what do they call that? A little thing at the end credits, after the credits? What do they call that?
Post credits.
Yeah, sure. So the other day, I left my drink on a counter, and a cat said, I really like that straw, and knocked it over, and I heard it fall, and I'm like, oh my God, that's my drink. And by the time I got back to it, it had sat there and pushed it off the counter that it was on, breaking open the lid, and all of my unsweet iced tea splattered across the floor onto a power strip. Living the dream, folks.